All right. Good evening, Andrew Klein here. This is a bit of an unorthodox journal entry and really an unorthodox assignment. Um, so it is Wednesday, August 21st, 10:23 p.m. Currently wrapping up journal entry number 4, and I'm using this as partially part of my journal entry, if that makes any sense. Essentially, I am not sure how to do the CQ assessment. I've looked everywhere. I might just be blind. Um, but I'm not finding a specific assessment. I'm trying to log in a bunch of different portals with my email address and my password, and nothing's working for me. So I might be just completely wrong in the way I'm doing this. So I'm trying to figure out what's a creative way I can try to do this. So the best way I thought was to submit a journal entry that has a video and then some short writings at the end too. Um, I also don't think I ever took LDR 3415 since I've subbed a lot of courses in my time at Northwestern. So, with all that being said, though, I wanted to kind of give a brief chat about intercultural intelligence and where I think I'm at. And I'm going to use the 4 points listed in the journal entry to discuss these further. Um, First of all, I think that my idea of what it means to be, have intelligence interculturally has changed a lot. I think that when I was a teenager, I just followed trends, to be honest with you, completely. I just followed whatever was being said on the social media or the news or whatever. When I didn't do some thinking and I didn't hold it up to Christian principles or Christian values or really anything like that at all, what I actually did was I just went along with what I saw. And sometimes what you see on the internet is good, and sometimes it's not. And so I don't think I really held that up to the standard I should have. But my time at Northwestern taught me how to do two things. It taught me how to be empathetic, and so love the person, and it also taught me how to hold my standards up to what the Bible has to say. And those, to me, are the two biggest things I've learned about being interculturally intelligent. Is that you have to hold it up to the truths of the Bible, but you can always be loving in the way that you do that. Now, I would like to address these 4 points. They are motivation, knowledge, strategy, and action. And I've actually come up with a couple ways I feel like I can implement these into my life. My motivation has changed. My motivation used to be I want to get people to think the same way I do. And that's not the right way to go. It's never the right way to go to say, I want people to think the way I want to think. Because honestly, the way I think is flawed. There may be things that I'm correct in, and there's a lot of things I'm not correct in. So I think the biggest part of that has to be that my motivation has to be, as a follower of Jesus Christ, I care about where you're coming from culturally, because Jesus and God designed culture not to bring us farther apart, but to bring us closer together, because he's given us so many different abilities, so many different things. He wants us to look at these differences and be like, wow, look at how you do this, look at how you do that, look at how big and great God is. That's what I feel like my motivation is now, where it's like I want to learn about people's culture and the way they view things, because I want to kind of revel in that part of my relationship with Christ. Number 2 is my knowledge. How do I feel like my knowledge has gotten better? I feel like my knowledge has gotten better because I have honestly researched, I have read, I have looked for accounts, I have done things to try to learn more about the knowledge behind why things are happening, or maybe my knowledge and how to get that to be better. And I think that learning from other people and also learning from scriptures and firsthand evidence in the Bible is very clear that intercultural intelligence is a key part. The thing about the missionaries, they lived among people. Let's take Jesus, for example. Let's take the story of him and the lady at the well. She was a Samaritan and he was a Jew, and it was not a good look for a Jew and a Samaritan to be mingling, especially if you're a Jew. It doesn't look good if you're a Jew back then. But Jesus said, I don't care about these societal standards. I want to know about this person. I understand that there's some cultural things and some differences and stuff. But for me, I care about the heart. I care about the person. I want to bring this person closer to me. And I think that that's the knowledge that I have to have, and that to learn, it's like, okay, I want to learn about these people, but my heart has to be, in tune with that. Number 3 is strategy for intercultural intelligence. How do I plan to go forth? Well, I'm very thankful to work a job in the Minneapolis Public School District. Um, I work as an assistant football coach as well as some other stuff. Um, Being an assistant football coach already, especially in a place like Minneapolis, has shown me a lot of diversity, a lot of ways people think differently, um, a lot of racial differences, a lot of just cultural differences in general, right? And my strategy has been, how can I make each one of these people, each one of these kids that I interact with, how can I make them feel like and tell them, hey, you're special. God made you a certain way. And I want to learn about you, and I want to learn about your culture and who you are as a person so that I can learn more about you, so that I can love you, because above all else is love, as it says in the Bible. And loving someone is knowing someone and taking care of them and wanting what's best for them and wanting to pour into them, right? And lastly is action. I think that ties into everything I've been saying this whole time. For me, the action is in doing what you're being called to do, right? And in my 4 years at Northwestern, I want to grow, right? I want to bring in all these different aspects in my life. But I think the most important thing is operating out of a place of love and understanding that as a Christian, I'm being called to lead. I'm being called to see the differences in the world around me and to love others and to love the differences that people have and to realize that the Lord put these in our lives for a reason. And for us to sit here and say, let's focus on what makes us the same. What makes us the same is that we are different. And that's beautiful because each person has one thing in common with another person, that they're different. And that is something that we can rally behind. And I think that's something that we were created for. I mean, you think about being made in God's image. What were we given? We were given culture. We were given race. We were given all these things. And you can sit here and argue and say, well, that was a Tower of Babel, blah, blah, blah. No, it wasn't. We were created differently. Even when it was just Adam and Eve, we were created differently. And we still all bear God's image. And for me, that's the biggest thing. That's the biggest thing I've taken from this course. I understand I've learned so much about business, so much about politics, so much about math, science, grant writing, all these things. But the biggest thing I've learned in my time at Northwestern, and I think that no other school really could do something like this, is it's taught me how to love. And it's taught me how to listen. And it's taught me how to see differences as beautiful and how to see people made in God's image and say, wow, that's really cool that you have this difference and you look at it differently than I do, or you have a different cultural upbringing. That's because God said, you're made in my image and this is part of my image. And I think that's a really beautiful thing. So I thought that the last video I did would be the last YouTube video I posted for a Northwestern class, but this is officially the last YouTube video I will ever post for a Northwestern class. Thank you, Northwestern. Thank you, Dr. Lemke, specifically so much for being my advisor these last 4 years and pouring into me. It's felt like a blur, but you've been a champion, and I appreciate you so much. Not just me, so many other people who have rubbed shoulders with you, been in classes with you, had you as their advisor. We appreciate you a lot. We thank you, and you've done just a fantastic job. So thank you, Northwestern. It's been a very fun couple years. I'm just so thankful. So God bless you all, and have a great night.